First fish of the day, Houghton Lake. Mr. Jansen's battling what, a big bass, John?
Yeah, I think it's a big largemouth. I hope it's a big largemouth.
We hope so. Looks like it. The rod looks like it's bent good. We're out here today on Houghton Lake with really good local guy, Chip McCullough, myself, John. We're in the boat and we're having a fun day on the water. Chip's doubled up here behind us. Oh yeah, nice fish, John. I'd lip him, but you know what, Johnny? Grab that fish. You don't lip crankbaits.
But I'll take that one.
Every time.
All day long.
You know, Houghton Lake is a fantastic mixed bag fishery, and like John said, we got fish on the screen right now in 14. There's walleye, there's northerns, there's largemouth, there's smallmouth. This is a prolific panfish lake, correct, Chip?
Correct, it is.
I mean, bluegills and sunfish. We're hoping to show you a couple of just mongo sunfish and panfish today. You know, one of the most fun things about today was the fact that it's been a long time since I've been on Houghton Lake. And that in itself is the problem. You know, Houghton Lake is one of those lakes that is absolutely central to the fishing history of the state of Michigan. And so many people have always thought about, you know, the weeds at Houghton Lake or the fact that it's big and it can get rough if it gets really windy. But what you really have to really grasp about Houghton Lake now is the sheer amazing amount of fish that are back and present in Houghton Lake. This is a fish factory, and it's not just a species-specific fish factory. It's a great walleye lake. It's a great bass lake. It's got a ton of northern pike. But one of the things that's exciting to me is the number and the size of the panfish. The crappie, as you saw today, the bluegills, the sunfish. This lake holds an amazing population of jumbo-sized panfish, and that should be appealing to every fisherman across the state of Michigan. We like northerns. We're multi-species fishing, and that's really the key. Like John was saying to Houghton Lake, is this is a place where you can just pack up 3, 4, a whole family, put 6, 8 trolling rods on the boat, set a spread of Houghton tots, shad wraps, you know, Strike King's bonsai shads and Lucky shads work great. Just basically a small 1/4 to 1/2 ounce shad imitating bait. And what in the world do you have? That's the biggest sunfish I've ever seen in my life, John. You need that in the boat. Oh my goodness, show that fish off. That is like seriously a bluegill people fish their whole life for.
So it doesn't matter, you know, you could come out here and target walleye, but you're going to catch bluegill, you're going to catch bass, you're going to catch pike, you catch a lot of different fish. So we've caught bass and bluegill and rock bass already, and we'll put this one back in there, although it would taste yummy.
Come to Houghton Lake, get like, I don't know what, ½ mile down the bar, we already got this fish number 10.
I don't know about you, but
this is a better
I
fish.
could do this all day.
Exactly. I think I could troll around on this lake all day long.
Nice pike.
Oh, nice pike. So we got big bass, we got a huge bluegill. Oh my gosh, this is a very nice pike. Yeah. Tell you what, you get little Jack catching that sucker, Johnny, he'd be all over that. Show that Houghton Lake nice pike off. What a great fish. You got one there, Chip?
Nope, just let mine go.
What a beautiful, beautiful pike. And they're good fighters, good eaters, and it's just a lot of fun to catch. But we're gonna let this one go back in there and see if we can't catch it again. But that's that purple Hottentot. We've been, how many fish we caught on that one now? Maybe a
4
half
or
dozen?
5, 6.
It's almost not purple anymore. It's
Right.
kind of
Yeah. It's getting abused.
It's getting abused.
We can always touch it up with a little paint, but we're gonna put this one back in the water.
We just came up on a 10-foot hump, and Chip had told us before the day even started that, oh, nice fish, that we were going to experience weeds And wherever we got around weeds and the right type of depth, we'd be fine. I think I'm over you, Johnny. This fish jumped over the other line. There we go. And when you're coming to a big body of water like this, whether it's Houghton Lake or any other inland lake, oh, nice fish. One of the keys to catching fish right away is understanding that fish relate to that type of structure. Rises in the bottom, reeds associated with those rises, you're almost always going to catch fish. Another nice largemouth, John.
Hold on a second.
But that's another quality fish. Really healthy fish. Trucking it, looked like we pulled through a school of those fish. John had one bend him over. I caught one right behind it. Again, catch and release midsummer. Houghton Lake is just a sportsman's lake where you can go out and just encounter fish. You know, one of the things that you want to know about this fishery is that there's shallow water spots that are kind of devoid of weeds, what I would refer to as a sandbar, high sandbars in the 6, 7 foot, 8 foot range. And then where those sandbars drop off, that's where most of the weeds are concentrated, from the top of the roll to the bottom of the roll. When you get outside those sandbars after it breaks and finishes its break, it seems to clean up again. Now the fish will concentrate themselves in those weeds that are at the top of the roll to the bottom of the roll. So what the real trick to Houghton Lake is finding that edge and staying just either to the inside, to the shallow side of the weeds, or getting on the deep side of the weeds. To try to fish right in the weeds is next to impossible. They just get to be too prevalent and too many of them, and you're just fouling your bait up all the time. What really you need to do is just find that clean edge, and then once you make a pass and you have some success, as you catch fish, you can punch your GPS coordinates, and what you'll find is there's little schools of fish that are working areas, and these sandbars will run for miles sometimes. And once you make a pass through, you can say, okay, go back and fish this little area, and then you can skip over and go back and fish the area. But the other thing is also, don't forget, is these fish will move. Fish have tails, they swim. So I typically just make long passes on the shallow side first. I always try the shallow side. If you're not catching fish, then you go to the deep side. It just seems like the progression of active fish always has them on the shallow side of the roll. Again, later in the day, midday, late afternoon, sure, you can go out to that deep side, drop your baits down, and have good success catching those fish that are down laying close to the bottom once they're done their primary feeding for the day.
Yeah, I tell you what, these rock bass are a lot of fun, because when you get into a schooling of them, they'll bite just about anything, and they're great for bringing kids and catching them.
Ah, yes, the smell of success.
Yes, it is.
What is that, 5 species today?
Yes, it is.
John's going to show you our 5th species of the day. Beautiful little eater.
Walleye, we love these, but I don't think we quite make 15 inches, so we're going to have to throw this one back. But we caught that one on white this time, little shad wrap.
Yep, number 4 RS. Now that I don't tournament fish anymore, probably the single bait I caught more walleye on in an inland lake than any other bait. A little white number 4 shad wrap RS. It's a walleye catching machine.
And I don't care what size you get, that's a beautiful fish.
Oh, are you kidding me? Hey guys, thanks for joining us here today on the show. John and I had a fantastic day on Houghton Lake, joined by our good friend Chip McCullough. And thanks for Kurt at Lyman's for providing some fantastic bait for us. We really appreciate your patronage of the show. John Bergsma here. Thanks for joining us.